And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go visit our good friends at Hail Mary's. Looking for somewhere to watch the tournament this week? Head to Hail Mary's. They're located in Cheviot, right on Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District. 27 TVs. So you'll have a chance to watch all the games. Not a bad seat in the house. They have a 9-screen video wall, and Cincinnati Sports will always be on that 9-screen video wall. They got a brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines, and not only do they pour the coldest beer around, but they do so in 32.8 degree beer frosted glasses. All right, Aaron, not a lot of this is kind of like might be the slowest week of the year with football on spring break. So spring practice is on hold. And basketball pretty much in a holding pattern until we get to the Crown in 2.5 weeks or whatever it is. So it's time to talk some NCAA tournament. I will say, I think I don't have any guarantees yet. I'm still sorting things out. But I think most, if not all of the guys that played in Kansas City will be available for Las Vegas. That does not mean everybody's staying. It means that this team is sticking together to go play in the Crown tournament. So
don't love that.
We'll see. Yeah, nothing worse than a team having each other's backs and wanting to play together one more time. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look instead at the NCAA tournament tomorrow. We'll maybe spend a little bit more time on the Big 12 teams that are in action, but we'll go window by window and get you ready for the games tomorrow. First game of the entire NCAA tournament, because the tournament starts on Thursday, not on Tuesday or Wednesday. Creighton playing Louisville in Rupp Arena. This one's fascinating because Louisville has better guards. I don't think Louisville has an answer for Ryan Kalkbrenner. So I think it's going to be a matter, Aaron, of does Kalkbrenner have one of those 30 and 15 days? Or can Louisville keep him reasonably in check where he has 18 and 10, something like that? And then I think Louisville stands a better chance to win there, but there is a chance, I think, that Kalkbrenner dominates this game because Louisville doesn't really have anybody anywhere close to matching up with him.
Louisville is favored 2.5 points in this game. I don't think they got respect with their seeding.
I don't either.
I don't think Vegas is giving them respect. I'm going to give Louisville the respect that I feel that they deserve. And I don't think this game is going to be particularly close. I think they win by double digits. It's damn near a home game.
It is going to be damn near a home game, for sure.
I just don't see a world where Creighton is able to keep up with Louisville. They've been doing this all year. They only lost 7 games.
This is also one of those things, Aaron, where we always talk about this after the fact. That the team that got screwed on seeding loses, in large part because they got screwed on seeding. Louisville has no business playing a team as good as Creighton in the first round.
Probably not.
So, that's where the seeding really screws people. Is this is going to be a closer game than Louisville deserved in the opening round.
But at the end of the day, Louisville probably should have been a 4 or 5, in my opinion. And
yeah,
you should be able to handle a 9 seed, plain and simple. And again, with it being almost a home game, I think that I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
I think it'll be close. I think Louisville wins, but like I said, I'm not ruling out that we look back on it and Kalkbrenner went crazy because Louisville just doesn't really have a center. And Kalkbrenner is really freaking good. High Point Purdue. A lot of people like this one, Aaron. I don't hate it. Purdue, without Zach Edey, has been a team that, Matt Painter has had his struggles in the early rounds. High Point is one of the better mid-majors in the country. If the line the line is 7.5. I would take the points with High Point, personally.
Look, any team that can knock off a Big Ten or an SEC team is my guy. So no, I'm here for it. If you want to predict an upset, and it's fairly, I mean, it's an early one, but I don't know that Purdue did anything that wowed me at all anytime this season. You finished 22-11. We're just throwing any team in that's got a winning record for either of those two conferences anyway. So
Purdue is a little better than that. They had the Player of the Year in the Big Ten, Braden Smith, and Trey Kaufman-Renn has been solid. Like they're good. I think they win. I just think it's going to be close. I think High Point puts a little scare in them.
I'll be rooting for High Point.
Montana and Wisconsin. I like this Wisconsin team. I don't think they're Final Four good. I don't think they might not even be Elite Eight good, but I do think they're a Sweet 16 level team. Really, really good top of the roster. I think this one is Purdue pretty easy.
Wisconsin.
John Tanji is really good.
This one's Wisconsin easy, not Purdue. 17.5.
Wisconsin.
17.5 is the spread on this one. This one, again, just not particularly close, I don't believe. I'd love to see Montana knock off a Big Ten team. That said, I don't see this one being one of those knockoffs. I think that Wisconsin should be able to skate.
Purdue High Point on True TV at 12:40. Montana, Wisconsin, TNT at 1:30. The final game of that window, the first window, starts at 2. Houston takes on SIU Edwardsville. Houston favored by 20.5. Looks about right. 28.5. Sorry, 28.5.
You don't have to say much here. If they cover the 28.5, more power to them. That's a hefty spread. That said, we see plenty of those types of matchups, especially with these low seeds taking on the high seeds. So yeah, Houston is one of my Final Four teams. I think they might win all of it. So go Cougs.
Auburn, Alabama State. This one's in Rupp Arena in Lexington at 250. Auburn favored by 32.5. Alabama State got the win yesterday on the heave down the floor. Nobody knocked it. The DBs didn't knock it down, Aaron.
They didn't.
And Alabama State gets the win. Auburn easy here.
I think I counted about 3 fouls on that play, but that's whatever.
Yeah. Clemson, McNeese State. This one's in Providence at 3:15. Clemson favored by 7.5. Will Wade has apparently already taken
out the door.
NC State job. Does his team fight for him? Because I think they can pull the upset. Or is there a little turmoil, disarray? I would imagine with Will Wade as your coach, there's always a level of turmoil and disarray that you're okay with inside that program.
I would imagine that's probably accurate. That said, I don't think McNeese State is going to pull off the upset. I think Clemson is pretty good. I think they've shown that.
I think we don't know. I think it's also the thing with Louisville. We don't know because the ACC was so bad. We don't know.
I mean, you could make that argument essentially for every conference. I don't know. You could make that argument, I think, for every conference that we don't know about some of these. When you get past the top 5 teams, like the SEC, I don't know that
we know the entirety of the ACC below North Carolina was trash. Again, I told you this. Georgia Tech was 10-10. Georgia Tech went 500 in that league. And Cincinnati beat the brakes off of them.
I'd probably toss North Carolina into that trash as well. Like they made.
Okay, so then you had 3 good teams in that league. I'm going to take McNeese State. I think Will Wade pulls a Will Wade. And NC State has to wait 2 more days to get their head coach. VCU, BYU, 4:05. This one is in Denver. BYU favored by 2.5. That is surprising to me.
It depends on which BYU comes out. You have to make shots. Like, I mean, they obviously have to make shots, but this team thrives on the three ball. This team thrives on getting the ball moving around and taking wide open looks. And if VCU can disrupt some of those passes and create turnovers, you find yourself in a world.
That's the big thing. BYU does turn it over more than you would think for a team that is as offensively proficient as they are. They are prone to turnovers. The one thing that kind of it will be interesting, the rebounding battle. BYU or VCU lives disrupting on the glass. BYU is a very good rebounding team, especially defensively. They're very, very good. So I think BYU gets it done. I do not think they are. They won what 10 of 11 to close the season.
Correct.
Like that's not streaky.
The only team they lost to was Houston in the Big 12 championship. So
semis.
Sorry. Yeah.
But that's not exactly this team is hot and cold. So I know a lot of people are on the VCU bandwagon here. I'm gonna stick with BYU. I think they cover 2.5 pretty easy. Georgia Gonzaga is really interesting. Gonzaga 6.5-point favorites. Gonzaga can do some damage if they advance. But Georgia's been battle tested. Gonzaga really hasn't.
Again, give me any team that's playing the SEC. I'm in on them. So
do we have to do this 14 fucking times?
I didn't put that many teams into the tournament, so yes.
God.
Plus the 10 Big 12 teams.
Big 10.
Big 10 teams. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. You got Gonzaga.
I got Gonzaga.
I probably do too, but that is tricky. Georgia's played a couple, multiple teams as good as Gonzaga. So they're not going to be taken aback by the Zags. I think it'll be closer than 6.5. So I'll take the points, but I think Gonzaga wins. 6:50 into the night session at Rupp Arena in Lexington. Wofford and Tennessee. Tennessee favored by 18.5. By that point in time, Dave is going to be smashed in Reno.
I think you're giving him about 3 hours too many.
Probably.
Yeah, Tennessee, this has no business being anywhere near 19.5. They will skate easy.
Maybe the game of the day in terms of eyeballs. Coach Cal and Arkansas taking on Kansas. Kansas a 5.5-point favorite. Kansas looked better down the stretch. Like the final 3 games of the regular season and into the Big 12 tournament, that looked more like what we thought Kansas would be. Kentucky, I think Thiero is out, which is kind of their
Arkansas.
Their heart or Arkansas. Whatever. It's Kansas and Arkansas. I do Thiero is kind of their heart and soul. He is out, I think. So I'll go Kansas here. I think they're playing better right now, coming into this game at least.
Zeke Mayo is going to have 15 plus in order for Kansas to win this game. KJ Adams has to show up. He cannot just be defense. He has to probably score close to 10, 9, 8.
He's been offensively. He's been better lately.
You're not wrong. I think for Kansas to win this game, he's going to have to score 8 to 12 and somewhere in that range.
That's where not having Thiero, I think, is big for Arkansas because I think that would have been the matchup. Like that would have been the key matchup, Thiero and KJ Adams. Without Thiero, I don't know that Arkansas has anybody to really match up with KJ. And I don't think they have anybody to match up with Hunter Dickinson either, really.
The compiler's going to do his thing. He's probably going to double with, I would imagine, 18 and 10 easy.
Yeah. 7:25 on TBS. This is another one that people like as an upset special. Yale and Texas A&M. Texas A&M favored by 7.5. Yale has had success when they've gotten into the NCAA tournament, but I think Buzz gets the job done here and they cover. So I'll go with A&M. But this is at least one that, some of the national guys are pointing this one.
I'm giving Yale. Give me Yale all day. Knock another team out that I don't want in.
7:35 in Kansas, in Wichita. Mizzou and Drake. Mizzou 6.5-point favorites. Drake maybe with a little momentum. I like Drake here.
I agree.
I'm fascinated by Ben McCullum in this one.
It's not just because I want Missouri out, because I do, but also I think Drake is a sneaky Sweet 16 candidate.
The Iowa rumors are going to be interesting because those are, now that Darren DeVries is at Indiana, McCullum is kind of swirling as like that Iowa leader. So
Darren DeVries has apparently been at Indiana since February 4th. So
maybe you realize that they were in the same MTE in the Bahamas. And that's apparently where all this started back in November.
Well, DeVries was also in Cincinnati the same weekend that Woodson said, "I will no longer be at Indiana."
Yeah, but the Aaron conspiracy theory goes, IU slipped him like a "Do you like us? Yes, no, check box."
It wasn't in the handshake line.
Class. No, they didn't play each other. They were just both programs were down there.
Gotcha.
And Indiana, I think, kind of was like, "You think I'm hot?"
Unreal.
If you watch today in the press conference today, he was like, Indiana has been very respectful of allowing me to coach my team at West Virginia all season.
Because you're under contract, dum-dum.
But also because Indiana has been in contact with you since November in the Bahamas.
Unreal. What are we doing?
I'm going Drake. This night session is actually really good tomorrow night. Really good tomorrow night. Utah State, Jared Calhoun, Bob Huggins, disciple. UCLA, Mick Cronin, Bob Huggins, disciple. In Lexington, UCLA favored by 5.5.
Well, UCLA or Mick's not at UC anymore, so he isn't out every first weekend anymore. So give me Utah State. Not because I want UCLA to win, but simply because I think that's what it's going to be.
I think it's going to be UCLA. They have a center that is almost just an automatic bucket when they throw it to him in the post. It'll be interesting. The one thing, I know it's low. I mean, it should be a pretty good game. The one thing that'll be interesting, Utah State runs kind of a funky zone defense. At times over the years, you've seen Mick Cronin offenses stall out against exotic defenses. So that would be the thing I think to keep an eye on, because they don't really have a super dynamic point guard to break it down. So Omaha St. John's in Providence at 9:45. St. John's 18.5-point favorite. Omaha is going to get drilled, I think, in this one.
Yeah, St. John's is going to haymaker after haymaker after haymaker.
Yeah. Michigan, UC San Diego. Michigan 2.5-point favorite. This line is wild to me. I know UC San Diego is kind of a media darling. Michigan's got 2 7-footers and a really good scoring guard. Like I'm gonna go with the Wolverines here. Pretty. I don't know that it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be in the 8-10 range, somewhere like that.
Michigan is the 5 seed. Things don't go well in the first round for 5 seeds.
Yeah.
This is the one for me. This is the one. I think UC San Diego is a fun story, and I would not be surprised at all to see Michigan get bounced. And Ohio State fans everywhere would love it. But
Texas Tech, the final game of the night at 10:10 on True TV from Wichita. Texas Tech 14.5-point favorites over UNC Wilmington. I can't imagine Wilmington keeping this super close. Texas Tech's offense is outstanding. I think they get it rolling, and there's no answer for JT Toppin.
I wonder how soon actually they take JT Toppin out in this game to reserve him for the next game, because I think he'll double, and that'll be it. I think at that point you're up 20, and unless they bring it within 15 again, he will enjoy the rest of the day on the bench with the dub.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That's our look at all the action on Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow night to bring you what we think about Friday. That is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!